What's up, guys? Bojankity here. Now we're looking at a game, and today I want to go over a game that shows discover checks really well. And a discover check occurs when moving one piece just reveals an attack on another piece, and we'll get into what that looks like and why it's important to kind of set up discover checks right now. So this game started off with e4. I play the Caro-Kann defense, which is just c6, and then when he pushes, usually either way you just push to d4 or d5. Sorry. The reason this is bad is because no matter what, this pawn is going to be hanging later on, because you can just attack the base of the pawn chain when he moves to d4, which he does. The problem is looks good because he has a deep hold, but later on what you can do is just move up to b6, and then he makes like a developmental move. You can just move up, immediately attacking the base of his pawn chain. Even if he doesn't want to take, like he does this, I take later on, I can move up here and then move in, and then if he takes, I can move my bishop or something. So he moves this knight up, letting me take, attacking his knight, and then he moves his knight to take, and then I just move my pawn up, letting me release this. Now, I will say that this person was taking a long time. I don't think you can see the times. You can't. So I kind of forgot that the whole point of me doing this was so I could have a hanging pawn here. So you'll see in a sec, I forget to take the weak pawn. But he moves his bishop. I move my bishop. And then he moves his other bishop to an odd place. Now I move my knight, attacking the pawn. Here he took like a whole minute, and I totally forgot what I was doing because I got busy looking at something else. So I just took his... It was a free pawn, but instead I took his knight and traded, which was bad because now this is protected by this. It's actually not looking pretty good because you'll see in a sec. We trade bishop for the knight. That was a standard trade. I move this up to attack this. I move my pawn up to attack this pawn, and then he would just move forward with this. He takes, I take with the knight. He then moves this, and this is when we're going to start getting into discover checks, right? So I castle, putting the rook right behind this knight. The problem with this is if I ever move this, right, instead of taking and trading, he can't do so because then his queen would be in jeopardy. He then moves his pawn up. I move that, discover check. He moves his queen to g4, and which looks really good at first because he's actually threatening mate 1 if I don't address that. The problem with this is he also set up his queen right on my diagonal. And I think he actually was running out of time. I think he was AFK or something for a little bit. So I moved my pawn up for two things, attacking this and also attacking this with a discover check. So he can respond a few ways. He can't take, which looks like he's a free pawn, but since this is, he has to address this first, otherwise he's going to lose it. He could move his queen out of the way, which is what he should do, and just sack the bishop, but it's actually not as easy as you think. So I got this here, I have this here, I have this here, I have my knight defending these squares here, 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 and here. This pawn also just can't move straight down because my pawn covers this square. So the only squares that are free is this one and then moving back. It's the only squares he can go to. So out of all those squares, I don't know which one you would choose, but he decided to just sacrifice his queen. I guess, I don't know, he thought maybe this didn't. It was kind of a fast move. Maybe he thought this didn't cover what he thought it covered. So I just take with my king. He takes, and then the game's pretty much over at this point. I have a queen up, so now I just start taking other pieces and go for the mate, which I kind of forgot how I got mate on this. It was a pretty easy mate since I have a queen. Okay, so yeah, I close in right here. I put him in check here. He moves back. I move my bishop up to cover this diagonal so he can't move back here. He moves this to attack my bishop. Bad move because now I just move here, which is covered. Can't go here. Can't go here. So it was mate. But yeah, really I just wanted to show you guys what discover checks look like and how to use them for covering some advances that they'll probably try to make, and to use that to your advantage to attack one piece and then also attack a high value piece. So it doesn't always look like this because this is kind of a weird setup. Usually a lot of games don't get to this weird setup. But let's say he didn't move to a different place. I mean, you just take. A good move he actually had here was to take here, because then if I was to take, we'd be trading queens, right? So right away, he can't really do that. Either way, if I did this, then it's just sacrificing his bishop, because then he can just move out of the way. Either way, he has to sack his bishop here to get his queen out of the way, which would have been a much better game for him than sacrificing his queen, because now, after he sacked his queen, there wasn't much of a game left to play for him. So anyway, quick and easy video about why discover checks are so dangerous and to look out for them. If you see a horizontal or diagonal piece sitting behind like a knight or something, you definitely want to look out and not put anything on that diagonal, because sometimes, I wish I could, let's see, I wish I had a better placement for my knight here. Let's go here. So I wish I had better placement for my knight, because sometimes if you can get to this knight to a place that's attacking a high value piece and you have a discover check, they don't have much of a choice but to sacrifice. Let's say I could move him here or something and it was covered, and you have a discover check, he would have to sack the rook in order to keep that. Or let's say I could move him like here. If I could have a knight here and have a discover check off that, then he pretty much would have to sacrifice his hanging bishop to move his knight or queen out of the way. So anyway, that's just the basis of discover checks and how to use them, what to look out for. A lot of times it's with diagonals, sometimes with horizontals. This game I use both. So this time I use the horizontal here, discover check. This is covered. This wasn't really attacking anything, so it's not amazing discover check. The next one's a lot better. By moving that was a huge blunder. And then I move this up, and this is where I actually have an attack on another piece with a discover check on his queen. So he has to address the discover check on his queen while also having a fork. No, it's not really a fork. It's just a double attack. And obviously the correct move is just to sacrifice your bishop after that. So anyway, I hope you guys liked and enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you're not already, hit the subscribe button so you never miss out on dank chess quite like this. Bye.